Hey guys, I'm at the Woodshed Barber, and today I'm going to go a little deeper into the best setup and usage for the Phat Master Blade.
This is the barber shop, Cornerstone neighborhood.
So, May 1st, Andis released the Phat Master Blade to the public, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys have been receiving them here lately. And on top of that, I've had a lot of you guys get in the comments section saying, what's the best setup for the Phat Master Blade? Or what are my setups for the Phat Master Blade? And so not only am I going to talk about setups, but I'm also going to talk about usage. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the 3 setups I have for the Phat Master Blade, and we'll go from there. So I do have the Phat Master Blade on my wall senior. It does have a Filthy Blends bracket, stretch bracket, and it has the cam follower to use the Andis cutting blade on there. Now, I prefer the 22 tooth cutting blade with the Phat Master just because I need it to cut through more hair and more bulk faster. And with that, I do have more of a stretch with that extend bracket. And now, yeah, there's no click, but you can see how far it can move. And if you go back to watch my Phat Master Blade versus the Blur Blade, you can see in the end of that how much of a range that stretch bracket gives that blade. So whenever you order your Filthy Blends bracket, extended bracket or not, think about if you can get the cam follower that can use the Master Blade. And there's a reason for that. So the only flaw I have found in all the Master Blades, whether it be the Master Blade, the Fade Master Blade, or the Phat Master Blade, is there's this gap. There's this gap in the blade, and I'm sure it's used for cooling, but because of the way that the Andis Master cutting blade is set up, it is perfect for this. However, as you put it on other clippers with their own cutting blade, you are going to find it difficult to keep it from falling into that track. So that's the first clipper I've got this set up on. The next one I have it set up on is on the Revite. Once again, a Filthy Blends bracket to allow me to do that. And so I've got it set up on the Revite. It is a wonderful tool for that. I do wish that they would come out with a blade cartridge with more of a stretch to it, to more of a pull. And I'm sure that it's probably going to come in the future. We'll see. They've been listening to us a whole lot lately. So that's my hope for that. But I do have it on the Revite, and since it is also an Andis cutting blade, you don't have a problem with it falling into that track. Now, the other tool I have it on is my Z Clipper or the Stylecraft Instinct, T-Pop Goblin, whatever you've got. If it's like this, that's what it is. So I've got it installed on this one. Now, the difference with this one is that I do have the deep tooth Stylecraft cutting blade used on it. So I have to be very careful with how I put this on. So whenever I put this on, where I usually would max gap it, which means I'm pushing that blade as far forward as possible, on this one I have to pull it as close as I can to the back, almost like you would zero gap it, but it won't go all the way, so I have to just pull back all the way on it. Now you may be wondering, how did I get it on the Instinct? Well, here's the thing. For a while, Stylecraft was coming with Filthy Blend mods on their clippers. If you have the Gamma X Ergo, if you have the Instinct, if you have the Rebel, a lot of these different, take off your steel blade, and if it has 4 holes, the 2 ones in the middle, that is for your master screws. Now, it does not come with master screws, so you do have to order Andis master screws. But if you got that, great, you're all ready to go, you're set up. Now, I can use a stretch bracket on this clipper, but since there's not a mod for the cutting blade, I cannot use the stretch bracket without it falling into that channel, and that's the only flaw to these blades. If I was Andis, I would do away with that third little rail right there, make that solid across there, and make it to where you can use it on more tools. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts. So I just covered the tools that I have this on, and now the next question is, what's the use for it? Starting off with the fact that this does go from a 1A out to a 2. Now, once again, if you want to go into the deep nuances of how that works, go back to my Blur Blade versus Phat Master Blade comparison, and it goes real deep on the lengths that it goes into. But think about that. If at any point you're fading and you would grab a 2 guard, a 1.5 guard, even a 1 guard, all that right there is covered. All that right there is covered in one blade. So, and you can have little dial-ins. You know, if you have a click lever with with this, you can dial that in. If you have the floating lever, like I have on most of these, you have that as well. And so it is very key to hitting those in-between spots. So just for normal usage, cutting against the grain, cutting with the grain, it does give you more of a smooth cut, and that's why I love that. If you are a detachable blade user and you don't want to pick up that big clipper right now, and you do have to dial some things in, once again, there's not a blade for every length, but with this, you can dial it in, and that's the importance of the Phat Master Blade. That's the first main usage of it, is the fact that you don't have to reach for guards above a 1, and you can just use a blade from 2 down. Just 2 down is all blade. If you have this right here and a good taper blade, you are covered. Now, another usage, believe it or not, it is fantastic for eyebrow trimming and mustache trimming. So majority of the times whenever I use the length for eyebrows, it's either 6 millimeters or 7 millimeters, somewhere in between that. So instead of having to do trimmer over comb, whatever, you can still do that. But I'll just grab my Phat Master Blade, extend it all the way out, go against the grain on the eyebrows, take care of those little shaggy eyebrows. It's also extremely good for mustaches. A lot of people, if you don't know this, your mustache is typically almost always the densest part of somebody's beard. So it does not have to be the same length as the beard. It can be shorter, and as long as the coloring is matching, it's going to look good. So oftentimes with my own mustache, I will use the Phat Master Blade, extend it all the way out to trim that down. Once again, great usage, and especially when it comes to more tailored in beards, using that with the grain, great for beard sculpting, fantastic for it. And also, we have gap blending. Now, gap blending is what I consider whenever you're moving from one blade to another, if you're using detachables, or one guard to another, and you're looking for those little gaps in between. With this right here, once again, the perk of the Phat Master Blade is that you can dial it in. For gap blending, figuring out, man, I went from that length to this length and there still looks like there's a line there. Your Phat Master Blade might be the cure for that. So the versatility of this tool is just as versatile as a normal taper blade or a normal fade blade. It gives it more stretch. So guys, I hope that helps you with this. This is a great tool. It's now available. I can't believe it was, September I was ranting about how I wish Andis would bring it back, and boom, we've got it, guys. So go out and get yourself a Phat Master Blade. You will not regret it. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please click that like button, subscribe, comment down below. Let's keep those comments humble and kind. And as always, I'll check you guys on the